An encounter with nature can change our lives forever. A few walks into the forest or at the nearest park can help us appreciate nature a bit more, but sometimes it can also scare us to death. There are some wild creatures out there that could easily attack us or at least keep us away from exploring their habitat at its fullest. Lucky for us though, there are plenty of clips around the web that show what it's like to come face to face with these animals. In today's video, we're going to be looking at 20 wild animal encounters caught on camera. Our first entry is hanging out with the deer. We start our video with the least frightening of all the wild encounters in this video. In this clip, you can see two kids who get visited by their neighbors, the deer. At first, the smaller of the two is a bit scared of feeding the animals, but after a while, he figures out how to give them food. He extends his arm and shares some of his bread with them, and it's pretty nice actually. You can tell that the deer are a bit far from their homes though, so it's actually pretty miraculous. Our next entry is fishing gone wild. Fishing is supposed to be a relaxing activity. Some people do it as a sport and some others do it to get some food. However, sometimes unexpected things can happen, and a fishing trip can turn into an encounter with one of the scariest creatures imaginable. Just kinda like how it happened to the guys in this video. They thought they had caught food for their next meal, but instead they were about to become an animal's meal. What they thought was a large catfish ended up being a 7-foot-long alligator. Yikes doesn't begin to cover that sentence. Our next entry is visiting a gorilla. There have been many times in which we've seen what gorillas are capable of. That's why it shouldn't surprise us that this group of tourists, or explorers, whatever they may be, decide to stay on the ground, looking at the floor and avoiding eye contact with the gorilla. Some of them did decide to take pictures, but none of them dared to make much noise or movement. They didn't want to provoke the gorilla and experience unfortunate consequences. Our next entry is the wildest biking journey. There are many ways to explore nature, and one of them is biking through the forest. It's a great way to get some fresh air while exercising our muscles. And if you're like the guy in this video, then you'll probably be doing some extra exercises as you bike for your life away from a bear. Luckily, this guy went for a bike ride and not just a walk. I highly doubt that he'd be as fast on foot. Our next entry is murky water full of surprises. Be careful when you come close to murky waters, because you never know what could be inside. I mean, just watch this video as this guy approaches a green pond, unaware that underneath the water there's a huge and hungry-looking beast that's just waiting for a curious human to get close. The massive crocodile came out of the water in just a matter of seconds. Luckily, the guy was able to escape, but I'm sure he's gonna think twice before getting close to a place like this in the future. Our next entry is a wild encounter in the ocean. It's important to stay active. I know a few people who actually like to go paddleboarding whenever they get the chance, but honestly, after watching this video, I'm gonna stay further away from the ocean than I already am. You see, this guy here was paddleboarding when a killer whale showed up out of nowhere. And to make things scarier, the animal got close and tried to bite the board. When the whale realized that the board wasn't that tasty though, the animal decided to swim away. That guy's heart was probably beating at a crazy speed after getting that close to one of the largest predators in the world. And honestly, I don't blame him. Our next entry is chaos at the safari. The point of going to the safari is to get as close as possible to the animals. But if you were inside this blue car, then you'd either hate the safari visit or remember it as the wildest experience ever. At first, the people inside the car were probably excited when they saw that an elephant was getting closer to them. I mean, really, who wouldn't love to be this close to those huge animals? But then again, it all did turn into a nightmare when the elephant lifted their car and flipped it. I can't even imagine trying to explain that to your insurance company. They'd probably just think you're making stuff up. Our next entry is feeding a bear. Don't worry, not all safari visits have to be that bad. You can also have some fun with the animals. Kinda like in this video where we see a group of people feeding a group of hungry black bears. While of course we want to usually stay away from these wild animals, there are ways to get close to them. And if you know how to approach them and feed them, then you don't have to worry about becoming their meal. Just make sure you do it in the right place with the right people, because I'm sure not all bears are this friendly. Our next entry is chased by hippos. A visit to the African continent wouldn't be complete without an encounter with a wild animal. And these guys know it. That's probably why they went on this boat and got closer to the hippos. However, what they didn't expect was to be chased by these huge animals. The hippos eventually gave up after a while, and the boat was too fast for the animals to catch up to. But I'm sure the people inside the boat got pretty scared when they saw the animal chasing them. And again, I don't blame them. Our next entry is joining for a swim. Don't you think seals are some of the cutest animals in the ocean? Well, not so fast. They can be quite sneaky, and there are plenty of videos online that show what they're capable of. In this video, you can see in how just a matter of seconds, the animal jumps and drags a girl into the water. In the end, the girl got rescued, but everyone around her was so scared and concerned as they weren't expecting the seal to do this. Our next entry is Panda Hugs. Here's another animal that just looks so cute, but it's also full of surprises. For some reason, this guy thought it'd be a good idea to jump into the panda's den and visit his friend. Well, apparently the panda was taking a nap, so nothing bad was supposed to happen, right? Yeah, no. The panda woke up and got a hold of the guy's leg. The guy tried to escape, but the panda kept dragging him down. If you ask me, it looks like the panda just wanted to cuddle the guy back. Our next entry is anything for a selfie. This statement's getting truer by the day and it hurts. The woman in this video proves that by doing anything to get the perfect selfie, even risking her life by posing in front of a wild bison. At first, the woman is confident that she's at the right spot to get the perfect selfie, but just when she's about to take the photo, the bison charges and chases the woman. Not sure she was able to take the picture, but at least we got this video, which is way better than any picture that she could have taken with the bison. What a nice memory to keep. Our next entry is blocked roads. When you drive through the wilderness, you have to be ready for anything. And sometimes that means being patient even when there are unexpected roadblocks. Just like the people in this video who were driving their car when suddenly a tiger came to meet them. Luckily, the tiger didn't even try to attack them.